All right, Mr. Morales, come on down. Court is calling 2025 CR 0022681 and 2025 0022683 State versus Daniel Morales. Can I have parties announce?
Rick Fania for the state of Texas.
Attorney Bill Simmons for defense.
And are you Mr. Morales?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
All right, and each of the cause numbers, did you review the documents entitled Application for Deferred Adjudication? With your attorney, did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Bashan, in the words of Representative Lewis, speak up, speak out. All right. To both of them. According to the plea bargaining agreement, punishment is to be assessed at a cap of 5 years in the prison. There's a $1,500 fine. Cases will run concurrently. State is taking in consideration 2025 CR 0022680. There's an affirmative finding of family violence and no contact with the complainant. Are there any witnesses from either side?
None from the state.
We have three, Your Honor, but they'll be brief.
All right, call your first witness.
At this time, I'd like to call Mrs. Morales.
Morales.
All right. Defense, you may proceed.
Thank you. Good morning, Ms. Morales. Thank you for being here. How do you know Daniel Morales, the defendant in this case?
He's my grandson.
And how long have you been on?
Oh, his life.
And in terms of Mr. Morales, just if you could give the court a brief synopsis of his upbringings and some of the challenges that he has had bringing to that he's had in his past.
Well, to begin with, Daniel, I adopted my grandchildren. And I raised
Speak
them.
up just a little bit.
I raised my grandchildren. I adopted them, and I did the best that I could. And they're good kids. They make mistakes, but
How has his behavior been while he's been in the home with you?
his behavior has been, like I said, sometimes he'd get upset, but right away, like I said, he realizes when he does something wrong, so he apologizes. He understands.
So has he shown remorse towards you for any type of anger issues he may have had?
No,
No remorse?
I mean, he's been there. He understands, and he doesn't get like angry. He just, he realizes if I ask him to do something, or he forgot, because he's always, sometimes he would forget, but other than that, he's, he shows, yes, Grandma, I'm really deeply sorry. So
Has he ever been violent towards you?
No.
Ever been violent toward anyone in the family that you've witnessed?
yeah, Gabby, he's been arguing. He's been arguing with his girlfriend on and off, but just arguing.
Have you witnessed any physical behavior on his behalf?
No.
Okay. Has his mother ever been in his life?
She just recently came back into his life a couple of years.
Okay, so for the most part of his life, was he without his mother?
No, he
At this time, if I could call Ignacio Morales. But would you say that upbringing was an excuse for any type of violent behavior whatsoever on behalf of you, your brother, or anyone else who was raised in similar circumstances?
Well, there are effects in something like that. The things that me and my brother went through were together, and it might have affected the way we've gotten along when we were younger. Other than that, we love each other.
But you'd agree that regardless of anything y'all have gone through in your past, and we're going to talk about the program that you're currently in and its potential impact on your opinions here, okay? But you'd agree that nothing that you've dealt with in your past would justify any violence towards any other human beings on planet Earth at any time.
I'm not sure about that question.
Okay. What I'm saying is do you feel that let's just start this specific to you, right?
Knowing my brother, I believe that it would, because how close I am with him.
Thank you. Nothing further.
All right, thank you. Call your next witness.
Oh, yeah, sure. At this time, I'd like to call Pastor Fabian. If there's one thing that you think I should communicate to him, what was that? All right?
Oh.
You remind, okay, you were good. And what was your response to that question?
Yes, please forgive me, I know it's not a laughing matter, it's just, but, I also, well, not this year particularly, because we were experiencing a lot of changes and transition in our nonprofit. But, there's a faith-based storm. The TDCJ has a faith-based storm. It's a 6-month faith-based program that has structure. There's a wake-up time, there's class time. We, with Chaplain Sherman there, Chaplain Bugsby, we've covered everything from anger management, strategies for recovery, relapse prevention, biblical studies, hermeneutics, homiletics, 12-step process group. So my response to you was, there's a 6-month faith-based storm in TDCJ, or the same structure in the faith-based storm that we have it here with the DSM. The whole purpose of the DSM is to prevent people from being incarcerated and having to have that sentence weight on them. So that was my response.
So in communicating to the court, the gist of what you had to say was, if the court were to give him that opportunity, he can either do this there's a faith-based dorm in jail, and there's a faith-based dorm up the street from me. I live in the same zip code. Okay, at the DSM, which is this Christian-based ministry. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, just in terms of, we've broken up some of that program there, but would you be willing to, if the court were to actually make a condition of his probation being enrollment in this program and successfully completing it, is that something you'd be willing to accept?
I'd strongly motion that. He's lacking a father, he's lacking structure, he's lacking to be literally part of a family, and he's lacking competencies in learning how to respond to anger instead of react to anger. And so I would be willing, if the court would grant me permission, take him in. I don't know if I'd be able to adopt him, but I'd be able to confront him and love him and provide for him, protect him, and teach him principles and core values that we teach and prescribe there at the program. But I walked up to him, I confronted him. I said, you know what, God's going to use me in your life, and I don't know how it's going to happen. I didn't think it was going to happen like this.
So you're unaware of his behavior other than just that brief encounter?
Yeah, he's come to a couple of the prayer groups. He's shown an interest, like a drawing, but outside of that,
All right, so this program that you've been talking about, what's the accountability for people that mess up along the way? Is there accountability?
oh yes, sir. There's reprimands, there's disciplinary action, extra detail,
What kind of disciplinary actions are there?
kitchen detail. There's a zero tolerance for fighting. I'll tell you that. So if he lays hands on somebody, that's termination from the program.
Your Honor, this sounds like Daniel Morales.
All right, can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
My name is Daniel Morales.
All right, in just one moment. Is the interpreter ready?
I'm ready, Your Honor.
With the interpreter?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, and we're off the record, and what is,
Mr. Morales, you've heard all of the testimony prior to this, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you've had that discussion about the need for structure, correct?
Yes, sir.
But you recognize that if this judge were to look kindly on the probation application, that none of that would matter if you do not have a desire for change.
Yes, sir. I understand.
And are you asking the court to grant you probation?
Yes, I am.
And if granted probation, do you understand that there's a multitude of things that you could do that could get you sent to jail for up to 20 years?
Yes, sir. I understand.
You also understand that we know it was a back and forth with the alleged victim. Okay, correct?
Yes, sir.
But you understand that there's no more contact with that person.
There's no more contact.
Y'all don't have any children together?
No.
But you do have a child.
Yes, sir.
And part of when your grandmother, when I was talking to her, but also on your urging, a lot of this is because you don't want your son to be dealing with what you're dealing with right now, correct?
Yes, sir.
But you recognize that you need to actually have some training and accountability to get you to a place where your child can inherit your recovery.
Yes, sir.
So, last question I would have for you is, what does surrender mean to you?
I think surrender, well, to me, I think it means change.
You're willing to give up these past ways of reacting to situations you don't like,
Yes, sir.
and you're willing to accept instructions on how to respond to things you may or may not like, correct?
Yeah, I'm willing to change so I can do better for myself, not only for myself, for my son.
I will pass it.
All right, you may proceed.
Mr. Morales, how old is your son?
It's 4, about to be 5.
Okay. When your son grows up, if he gets involved in an altercation where he assaults his girlfriend, for example, do you feel like he should be held accountable for doing so? What about if it's his mother? If he has assaulted his mother, you think he should be held accountable? Do you think if he threatens someone's life, you think he should be held accountable? I'll pass the witness, Ryan.
Any further questions?
Nothing further, judges.
I have a few questions. Any objections?
No objection from the state.
All right. So,
And but for current judge, we would, in terms of the stipulations that we had tendered to the court, probably should have done this before. Believe those are the same steps that we signed previously with the amendments that we had. Okay.
all right. So this is my concern and what I'm looking at. You have a case from September 16, 2024 with this complainant, and that's pointing a deadly weapon at her, namely a knife. And then you have a case from December 8, 2024, and that's another assaultive behavior against the same complainant, and this time choking her. And all of this is over your breakfast not having ketchup. So, number one, what breakfast that you wanted did not have ketchup? This is just for me to know.
The only reason why I brought that up is because I was getting cheated on, and
No. So here's the thing. When people cheat on people, you have two choices. One, you forgive them and expect that they're accept that they're cheating on you. And if they deny it, you either say, okay, they've denied it, I'm gonna let it go. But your choices are either you stay and you accept it or you move on. So back to this ketchup business. So what breakfast were you having that you were so upset that there was no ketchup?
she was upset she didn't have any, and I told her.
No, let me just tell you what the steps read. It says they spoke to the complainant. The complainant stated that they had been arguing since last night. You struck her on the face, and let me see, where is it? Where you told her to let that BAN get ketchup for her.
Yes.
So this was over ketchup. And it was you who wanted the ketchup.
No, I
It says that you wanted ketchup. So what breakfast, was this eggs? It says the complainant stated today they argued because she made breakfast and they did not have ketchup.
I don't eat ketchup with my eggs. She does. And she told me that she didn't have any, so I told her to tell him to go buy it for her.
Yeah. And so how does this turn into you grabbing a knife?
Because she has people knocking at her door, and I couldn't defend myself.
Okay, so that's in September. So you grab a knife in September because you can't defend yourself because she has people in whatever category you're talking about. So then the question becomes, if you think she's cheating in September and you're telling her to tell some other guy to get some ketchup for her eggs, and you pull a knife on her because you're afraid of other people she has, then why are you with her in December?
Because when I got out, she told me that she wanted to take me back. And
But no, why would you want to go back? She's cheating on you. She has these other people in some category that you're afraid of, and you have to pull a knife on her. So why would you even go back to her?
because she told me it was just a sugar daddy that is just some old guy who gives her money, and I believe her.
Mhm.
And
So then we come to the December case. And the December case involves choking. And it says that, that she didn't immediately report because you're controlling and overhear her conversations and read her text messages. So it says that she contacted the babysitter to see if the babysitter could come by. And when the babysitter came by, she let the babysitter know what was going on. So I'm assuming this complainant you were with has children.
Yes, she has children.
And when you say children, how many children?
She has two, a daughter and a son.
And what are their ages?
I think her daughter was 2 and her son was 6.
2 and 6?
Yes.
All right, so you all are having these children see violence in the household, 2 and 6. You think she's cheating? She says she's not. Then she tells you it's a sugar daddy, and you're okay with that, which means you're okay with her doing whatever she does to get money, according to you, from a sugar daddy. And where was your child in all of this? This child that now you need to be there for, and you want them to see different things. Where were they?
I was still seeing him every day, and she didn't like it because she thought I was talking to the mother of my child.
And that's the other thing. Why would you be with somebody who you think is cheating on you, who has friends in categories that you feel you have to defend yourself with a knife by placing a knife on her, who then tells you it's a sugar daddy, and to top it all off, she really doesn't want you around your own child? Why would you be with that person?
Because I made a mistake, and
Nope, these are choices. These are not mistakes.
yes, it was my choice, and my choice turned into a mistake.
All right. And what's with this tattoo on the face?
It used to say her name, but I covered it up to my brother who passed away.
All right. So, and then you get her name tatted on your face. So you get her name tatted on your face. Don't even have your son's name tatted on your face.
No, I have it all.
As a side note, this is what I always tell people. When you're getting tattoos of people's names, these are your best options. Your mother, because your mother's supposed to always love you, and your children. Getting names of females or males, never a good idea. And what's with this San Antonio tattoo? Do you love San Antonio that much that you need that tattoo? What's that about?
I was born here.
Oh, a lot of people are born here, but they don't have a San Antonio. How many people are born here in were you born in, do you have a San Antonio
I
tattoo?
have no tattoo.
I don't either, Judge.
So what's that really
I love
about?
San
I
Antonio.
recently started getting tattoos, so I like how tattoos are.
Mm-hmm. And then it says 210.
Just
Yeah, what's going on with the tattoo?
like I said, it's just where I'm from.
All righty. Is that your story? You know, you stick to your story.
Yes, ma'am.
What's that tattoo about?
Like I said, it's just where I'm from.
All righty.
Well, I don't know, for me.
Oh, no. You can ask whatever questions you want to ask counsel.
The environment in which you were raised, I think you probably get to what the court may be alluding to.
Look, are you a gang member?
No,
So why do you have that tattoo?
And if I could,
Sure.
and if you did, if it would be more along the lines of like thousands of people in San Antonio are posers. For example, there's thousands of people in San Antonio who unknowingly have, for example, the Michael Jordan Jumpman design on their arms because they think it's cool around other people, not understanding what connotation that has with actual gang members who are danger to this society and probably shouldn't be here. You understand that, but as basically a kid, how old were you when you got this tattoo?
I got it about a year ago.
Okay, so how old were you?
I was 21.
Okay, so as a 21-year-old, not fully understanding the ramifications of certain things, you personally just thought it was cool. It had nothing to do with you being a gang member.
No, I just got it because I started getting tattoos.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Stay just argument.
All right. All right. In each of the cases, the court I don't think you're a good candidate for probation. Unless the complainant is going to walk in here and says that she wants you to have probation, it's not happening. I'm going to find you guilty in each cause number. You all have,
Your Honor, were we able to make the argument or support just?
I'm finding him guilty. You all can make an argument as it relates to the cap. All right, so it's a cap of 5. The court will hear argument.
In support of Kappa 5, Your Honor, the defendant has a long, violent history. Essentially, since 2020, he's picked up violent offenses. In 2020, he got a cleansing assault. I was unable, since it's a city offense, to determine the facts of it, but I do know that he served 5 months deferred. In 2021, he had a misdemeanor, ABI family violence, that he did an 8-day JSAT on. The following year, 2022, he picks up another Class C assault that he does 5 months probation on. 2023, a terroristic threat, family violence, so he does 8 months deferred adjudication on. And then these two, all within the same year that we're here for today. There are actually 3 cases, one's being TIC as part of the plea, but I feel that because of this defendant's long violent history, he is not a candidate for probation, and that prison would be the most appropriate option for him.
All right, defense.
Your Honor, we would ask the court to consider the lower end of the cap on this case, which is 2 years. He's expressed a lot of contrition. Of course, in these cases, there are always, but what we would say in terms of the complainant, we guess we would renew this motion to the court. My understanding is that the state, that the complainant has moved out of state and that we weren't here. So if the court would give us time to possibly get an investigator to try to bring her in, or at least see if she has an issue with probation, we would ask the court's leave to possibly do so with the reset. But if the court is not so inclined to allow for the state to try to reach her, or for us to reach her, we would ask the court to come in on the lower end of the range here. He understands that there are things he could have done differently. We're also very, very careful in making sure that we're not blaming the quote unquote victim in any way in these situations. But what we will say is that she was a much older than the defendant. There was a significant amount of manipulation, but again, which is why we presented that evidence to the court. We believe that he didn't have the background to be able to develop the ability to react in a way that would be within the guise of the law, as opposed to ways that could be construed as criminal offenses. Given his age, given the support structure that he has, we would ask the court to come in we would ask the court to give him a sentence of 2 years on this case. And we would also ask the court if the court would be willing to maintain jurisdiction over the case if the court were inclined to give him anything over 2 years.
All right. And each cause number, the court, as previously stated, is finding you guilty. The court will sentence you to 5 years in the prison, give you credit for any time served. There's a $1,500 fine, time and money to run concurrent. There's an affirmative finding of family violence in each cause number. There's to be no contact with the complainant. Taking consideration 2025 CR 002680. There's to be no unsupervised contact with minors. There's to be no residing with any household that has minors. And our request the therapeutic community in each cause number. In each cause number, did you review the documents entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes.
All right, because these are plea bargain agreements, because I followed your plea bargain agreements, because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have your court's permission to appeal. Because these are felony convictions, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we can go off the record. Counsel, I'll retain jurisdiction. We'll see how he does.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. Good luck to you.
Thank you.